Now, Senator Thad Cochran recently passed away after serving what seemed to be an eternity in the House and Senate, so in Congress. Now, he was 81 years old, and Donald Trump marked the passing of Thad Cochran by making it about himself, of course. Now, Trump recalled one vote in particular in Thad Cochran's very, very long career in which, while he was sick, flying to Washington, D.C. in July of 2017 to vote for repealing the Affordable Care Act. Yeah. Because, when you're sick and when you're dying, the first thing that you want to do is to make sure that nobody gets health care. So you're going to fly back to Washington and make sure to vote against people having health insurance. There are no good people in this story. None. It just feels like I'm surrounded by horribleness. Now, Trump himself said, quote, "Very sad to hear the news and the passing of my friend, Senator Thad Cochran. He was a real senator with incredible values. Even flew back to the Senate from Mississippi for an important health care vote when he was desperately ill. Thad never let our country, or me, down." Of course, never let me down. Because that's what matters most to Donald Trump. He never let me down. And of course, I love how he conflates himself with the country. Like, he never let the country down, which means me. God, you're a sad, pathetic person. Now, something in there that a lot of people on social media notice is a little bit of dig at John McCain by saying he was a real senator. John McCain was a lot of things. War criminal, war hawk, etc. But yeah, he was a real senator. And you know who else was a real senator? Thad Cochran. Because they were both actual senators. Just saying. What did that even mean? What did that even mean? I don't know. Steffi says, I see what they did there. Quote, "I see what you did there." Another dig at Senator McCain. You just can't let it go, can you? No, he can't. He's completely incapable. Tommy Haber says, "How can I make this more about me?" David Dennison says, "Yep, it's all about you as usual." David Rothschild points out something interesting. Loyalty to the U.S. inversely correlated with loyalty to Donald Trump. That's really important. I love that. Fresh Fry says, made it almost to the end without making it about himself. Then he couldn't resist. Well, of course. That's who we're dealing with here. Brooklyn Dad Defiant says, "Your own petty squabble with John McCain even finds its way into a tweet about Senator Thad Cochran. Instead of just condolences, you take a not-so-veiled swipe at McCain with real senator and a health care vote mention. No wonder they had to hide the US's John McCain from you." Again, he's so incredibly petty. So incredibly petty. Mike, 3 times national champion Sarasa says, "I'm quite certain he hated you, just like everyone else," referring to Thad Cochran. Carla says, "Yep, because everything is all about you." And Maruku says, "I'm sorry to hear about the dead senator. He never let me down. Yes, I made his death about me, like I do everything else." And the moral of the story, of course, is that this president has literally no shame. Everything comes down to him, his ego, and what they can do for him. And interestingly enough, the one thing that he lauds is the one thing that the president had during his campaign promised not to do: take away health care. No, he promised to have better health care. "I'm going to cover everybody. Nobody's going to die in the street." Well, if you take away health insurance from 30 million people, where's that going to leave some of them? Especially those who have pre-existing conditions. Well, I'm gonna make sure they have pre-existing conditions. Well, his legislation was terrible. That legislation, known as Trump Care, was an abysmal, absolute failure. And again, we're talking about the ACA here, which was also not great, but then sabotaged even more by the Trump administration. That's even more popular than the Trump plan. The Trump plan had about 30% support. Now, I think we need single payer, and I think we need it yesterday. Universal health care, truly universal health care, Medicare for all. No insurance companies, no copays, nothing like that. But Thad Cochran and Donald Trump did not go that way. Ironically, Donald Trump said he was single payer before he was against single payer. I guess maybe he didn't understand what it was, because not only is he self-absorbed and self-involved, but he's also a gigantic idiot and doesn't know what he's talking about. So maybe that's it. But again, here we have another instance of him making something that that doesn't involve him about him. Shocker. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.